everybody. Welcome back to Clip It. This episode I am so excited about. I have a celebrity hairstylist, an author, a public speaker. She is definitely everything of the word influencer. She is making waves in the beauty industry. And with no further ado, I would like to introduce to you Monaé Everett. Hey, Monaé. How are you today?
I'm making it, doing pretty well. I'm excited to be here with you.
Welcome to Clip It. And I tell you, I am so excited to introduce you to, our viewers, to newer, future stylists. You have definitely, 18 years in the industry. Can you just tell us a little bit more about your whole journey in regards to how you started, also where you're from?
Absolutely. So I was born in New York, but raised in the DC area, so DMV stand up. I lived there most of my life, and I fell in love with beauty at a very young age. Like when I was in middle school and high school, I always had something to say about people's looks on the TV. And I decided to go to cosmetology school in high school, but like they wouldn't let me sign up when everybody else could sign up in their sophomore and junior year. They said my GPA was too high, and they said the lie that like cosmetology was only for the dumb girls. I didn't find that good, and I don't agree with that at all. But I was finally able to finagle my way into cosmetology my senior year in high school, my freshman year in college. Went to school, got the degrees, but my mind and heart and soul was always in the beauty industry. And around my senior year in college, someone told me about celebrity hairstyling, working with magazines and publications and TV, because it never occurred to me that there were people who actually did that as a living. So when I saw people in magazines and on photo shoots, in my mind, I was like, oh, okay, I guess they got their hair done, Friday at the salon and did a photo shoot on Sunday. I had no idea that there was a connection. Okay. So after finding out about celebrity hairstyling, I was like, okay, I got this degree. Now I'm a celebrity hairstylist. I'm only going to work with celebrities.
Okay.
Ma'am, things do not work that way. I was literally a crazy teenager to think it was possible that you could just wake up and decide this is what you were going to do. It takes years to hone your craft, years to learn how to deal with customers, years to learn how to schedule yourself and be available and things of that nature. So I fell on my butt, and I ended up right back in the salon. For me, it was falling on my butt because I had all of these theories of grandeur for what I was going to do with no experience. So I went back, I started studying, I started really focusing on doing all hair textures, working under a short amount of time, created different looks. I just did class after class after class. And the one thing I knew was no one could take my education and my skill from me. Okay. So I wanted to really focus on that. Then I started, working on the side, doing runway shows and other things. I would travel to New York here and there for a gig. So some years later, I decided, okay, I'm going to move to New York, because I truly do subscribe to the belief, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
I believe that. And so in your, finding yourself in regards to where you wanted to be, have you ever worked in a salon?
Oh, yes, I worked in a salon. Absolutely. Maybe I skipped over that part. I absolutely worked in a salon. I assisted in a salon when I was in cosmetology school. Then I worked in a salon for some years, a really popular salon in the DMV area. I went on to work for a couple of different salons, and then I was a manager at a salon, a chain salon on Capitol Hill for some years. And that's when I really started to learn about diversity and taking hair classes. And I started realizing, well, why do some salons offer so much education and other salons barely offer any? I didn't know that you could be a brand spokesperson or anything of that nature. So my first foray into doing something outside of the salon was I was a hair color educator for a very short time. And then I went into working mainly freelance.
Awesome. I mean, that is definitely a dream come true to a lot of newer people in the industry that's coming into the industry. So you are definitely have a platform for mentorship. I think that everything you've accomplished, I mean, the way that you stepped into certain platforms and you just doing it. And I commend you. And
Thank
it's just
you.
such a pleasure to meet you. And also, can you just tell us, I know you did Harper magazine and you did so many different magazines. You've been featured so many different um, and so many different platforms. Can you just tell us a little bit more about maybe some of the magazines that you were in and featured in, all your accomplishments?
Absolutely. Well, you know, I'm African American, so I hadn't made it until I was in jet, until my work was in jet. You know, my mama and them had no idea what I was doing. So that is, even though jet is defunct, that was one of my favorite features, having working there. Ebony, Essence, InStyle, Harper's Bazaar, Hair's How, Shortcuts, Yahoo, Verizon, Amazon. So a lot of, you know, different publications. You know, this 18 years was hard salt. And when you run it down in the reel, it seems like, oh my God, so much. And I am so blessed that I have worked with so many different publications. But trust me, it all comes from a lot of hard work.
Wow, Monae, I'm sure that it does, and I'm sure that it did, and I'm sure that it always will. Um, you are stepping and have always stepped into some big shoes, girl, and I commend you for all of that. Can you tell us just, you know, a tad bit of the celebrities that you was pleasured to touch? You know,
Oh.
like yes, I mean, it's from what I see, it's tons of them. You are uh, so blessed. You have encountered to be able to style the stars. You have, and you're still doing it. You are still motivating people. So just tell the audience like some of or all of the celebrities that you have serviced over the years.
Sure. Right now, I'm working with two of the leads on Power Ghost Book 2. So Paige Hurd and Latoya Toledo. Paige plays Lauren, and Latoya plays Mary J. Blige's daughter. Dominique Fishback, who just starred in the new Jamie Foxx movie. On Netflix. Who else have I worked with? I've worked with Viola Davis, Taraji P. Henson, quite a few of the Nickelodeon and Disney starlets, Brenda Song, Lizzie Green. So many of them are flashing through my head right now. Emily Tosta. I've had the pleasure of working with quite a few different celebrities and a lot of different capacities. So it's
Right.
definitely a blessing. But you know, after you work so hard and achieve it, it is wonderful, and you want to achieve more. That's the thing. As soon as you reach a goal, you know, as soon as you meet that vision on your vision board, you
Mm-hmm.
get it, and you don't really even feel like, oh my God, I achieved it. It's like always on to the next. In my realm, in my world, generally, if I do a magazine photo shoot or work with a celebrity, it is at least a month and a half before it comes out. It used to be 3 to 4 months before it comes out. So
Okay.
by the time you guys see it, I'm like months in the future, and everyone's excited. I'm excited too, but it's like I don't even get to really enjoy it because I'm on the next step. If I work with a celebrity today, and whether we end of September and it comes out at December, if I didn't do anything between September and December, you know, no one will care about me then. So
Right.
there's always more work. There's always honing your craft. There's always classes. I'm such an advocate of classes. You'll hear me repeatedly come back to that because fashion and beauty is so ever changing. As soon as you pat yourself on the back for sending someone down the red carpet looking amazing, that hairstyle is like out of fashion. You got to move on to the next one.
Right. Okay. Well, that's awesome. So also you like day in and day out, hustle bustle. You are an educator and a public speaker as well. How do you find the time to fit all of this into your busy schedule?
It's funny you say that because my second book I just released, Get Out of Your Own Way, to help beauty professionals who want to work with celebrity and high-end clientele. I've been asked to write it for years, and I always say, I don't have time, I'm too busy. And I always laugh and say, with the shutdown, I got shut down almost a month before everybody else.
Okay.
Because the celebrities were getting scared, and then, they came out of it, and I had a few bookings, and then everything got canceled.
Okay.
So I always joke and say, God shut down the whole world. It was like, girl, you are not that busy. You do have time. Oh, you're too busy? I'm going to make it so that you have nothing else to do. So
Okay.
a lot of people, they want to work for themselves, but I think the hardest part of working for yourself is to continuously motivate yourself. So I create the time because one, I want to give back. Two, I want to stay influential in this industry. I want to always learn and grow. And three, I'm really proud that the lack of diversity and inclusion in the beauty and entertainment industries are coming to light. And this is something that I've spoken about. I was one of the few people speaking about for many years. So I feel that I have to create time to educate and to mentor as my way of combating this lack of diversity behind the scenes, specifically in the beauty departments, makeup, hair, wardrobe, and photography.
Okay. Now, an important question, and I'm also very curious about the state of diversity at this point of the state of the world.
Yeah.
Let's just go back, to when you first walked into behind the scenes of the stars, celebrities, so on and so forth. Was it always just like, did you feel like it was always just a token few African Americans?
I'm happy you bring this up, and what I have to say is not so popular. So I was raised in the DC area where I was very unaware of systematic racism and racial injustice. I went to George Mason. It was the third most diverse school in the country.
Okay.
I did not pay as much attention to these things. Now that I'm older, I'm realizing that I saw things and just didn't know how to categorize them, much in the same way that many of your children see injustices or things that are wrong and are unable to say, no, this is wrong.
Okay.
So I walked in spaces, and many times there were not very many Black people behind the scenes. And I looked at it as just diversity. But I always noticed that when there was a Black talent, all of a sudden, the hair, the makeup, the wardrobe, the photographer, everybody's Black. And I used to think, oh, this is great. We're showing what we can do. And then you come back to a larger talent. And once again, if I'm there, I'm the only Black person there. Or there might be one other who doesn't really identify as Black, So I started noticing that, and I said, I don't think this is right. I don't think this is the way it's supposed to be. Surprisingly, when I moved from the DMV area, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area to New York, I learned a lot more about systematic racism, tokenism, and things of that nature, because this is very unpopular to say, but my truth has been, they have flat out said, oh, we only hired the Black girl because we got a Black model. We only brought you on this set because none of the white artists wanted to deal with her hair. Mm. This is something that blew my mind. I did not know it was possible. And that is my sheer naivete on the situation. But I damn sure was not expecting anybody to tell me to my face this, or to tell me to my face, it's great that you, Monaè, can do all hair textures, and you do it very well. We're not used to that. Two, the white or Asian artists can only do straighter hair. So we're going to continue to book them for those girls and only book you for the curly and kinky hair girls. And it was like standing there like, duh. I didn't know what to say or do. I can distinctly remember working on a very popular show, so I won't say their name. Okay. They do a really big finale where there are, hundreds of talent. So the crews get broken down into different crews. Mm-hmm. And I remember they said, raise your hand if you can braid. And me being the person I am, oh, I can do that. I was excited, because this was something they were having a hard time finding artists who were able to do. And they said, okay, you guys. And I looked around and there was 5 other Black girls. They pointed to a room way down at the end of the hall. So, I mean, like, you had to walk past all the other sets, but, that's okay because that's the room that's available. I get there, it was 5 other Black girls. They literally put us in the Black girl section. And that's literally all we worked on was Black talent. And I looked around and I just couldn't understand. And I said, okay, so I'm trying to go above and beyond. And it feels as though this is really working against me because now I've segregated myself out and people who don't find beauty in Black hair and skin are no longer even looking at my work. I just don't feel that we have to put ourselves into the Black people corner. It's your individual choice.
Wow. For those who have eyes that can see and ears that can hear, this is definitely a serious topic for us as African American professionals. That the quote is true, what our grandmothers and great grandmothers was telling us, the fact that we have to work 100 times more than the average person just to get, not even further than them, just to get to a level of success. And it's so draining, especially after you spend so many years putting in your heart to certain things. Do you still have hope in regards to breaking that barrier, Monaè?
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely have hope. Absolutely. It can be frustrating at times, but I absolutely have hope. That's why I'm excited when magazines like, InStyle or Harper's BAZAAR or Vogue or Birdie ask me my opinion. That lets me know it's not just the Black thing. And I'm excited that now there are more artists and more marketers and more writers and more podcasters who are being open because this is very difficult to talk about. You're always worried about any form of backlash. So I'm happy that it's not just me being the squeaky wheel anymore. And if you get, there's strength in numbers, you get enough people talking about something, others will have to notice that it's happening.
Exactly. It's happening. So getting out of your own way, your book. Now, what basically are you trying to tell people?
So as I mentioned earlier, I had just decided that I was just going to be a celebrity hairstylist and all I got to do was this. So not only did I not know what I was doing, I did a lot of the wrong things.
Okay.
As I was writing this book, it was going to be like 10 tips to book a celebrity client. And it turned into 25 insider tips for booking celebrity hairstyling clients for the reason that I realized since I didn't know what I was doing the wrong thing. So I needed to first get out of your own way. First thing you got to do is get out of your own way. You think you know what you're doing, you don't. Get out of your own way, and then you can get to the insider tips for how to book celebrity clients. So I discuss things like your online presence, how to pitch and who to pitch, how to create your own images if you're unable to pay for a photographer and a photo shoot. And then if you are able to do a photo shoot, here are the things you need to look for in the other creatives that you partner with to create those images. What I find in the higher realms, the celebrity realm, the traveling stylist realm, so when someone comes to the salon and you do their hair, they come, they get their service and they leave. Right. But if I'm traveling with them, it's more so about how comfortable they are with me. If we're in that car for 2 hours together, if we got to have lunch together, breakfast together, catch that flight together, they tend to want to choose someone who looks more like them, where I find that unfortunately many times the Black actresses want to choose someone who can help them in their career. So they will bring in people that don't look like them more often.
Wow.
Everything is political. There's sponsorships, there's endorsements. If I am a spokesperson for X brand, that's going to open up doors because they know if they hire me, X brand is going to put hundreds of thousands of dollars behind pushing anything I do. So that would open more doors for that celebrity. Everything is political when you get to a higher rate. Think about who you see on the red carpet. What you may or may not realize is if you're looking at a red carpet special, there's 90 other people that they never brought up that were on that carpet. Why? Maybe the right person didn't dress them, or they're not wearing the right gown, or they went to an unknown hairstylist or something like that. But what these entertainers want to do is they want to become known in their right, plus have popular teams around them, because now we're just stacking on stacking on stacking, and it's getting better. And that might be a little bit too much of an insider secret, but don't say I never gave you nothing for free. Listeners.
So Monaè, you have an educational academy. Can you tell us more about Monaé's Life Academy? I mean, that's fantastic. So
Absolutely.
Another accomplishment.
Why, thank you. So I started my online academy, the Monaé Life Academy, a few years back, because I would receive so many emails and messages from artists who want to do what I do, which is work with celebs, do print work and film work. And I felt that there were very few resources available. When I first began, I didn't know a hairstylist who worked in entertainment, and I certainly didn't know any celebrities. So it was definitely a step, a heartfelt road. And I always said I bumped my head against the wall so many times that when I got to a place that I felt comfortable, I would provide some form of education for others. So I see my online academy as a way to open doors. So I have one class, So You Want to Be an Editorial Hairstylist, where I discuss the choice that every hairstylist has to make in this industry. And I have Master Onset Hairstyling, where we discuss all 4 hair textures, and it's look and learn. So straight hair, wavy hair, curly hair, and coily or natural hair, and how to style it online. I even offer one-on-one laser coaching, as well as my book, Get Out of Your Own Way, and freebies. You know, you got to give folks the freebies so they can see, that you know what you're talking about.
Right.
So some of my freebies include my celebrity cheat sheet checklist, which is what you need in your kit to be able to style any celebrity's hair. So okay. I got all the good stuff for you at themonaelife.com. I'm always doing a lot of free educational lives. You can text the word hair to 33777, and you'll get an alert when I go live. That was text the word hair to 33777. And all of this is online at themonaelife.com.
Awesome. You busy lady. I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you have so much to offer generations that's coming into the industry. Monaè, I'm telling you, you have definitely set the bar high for a lot of people. And just keep being as beautiful as you are, and keep motivating people to be the best that they can be. I think that's such an awesome spirit that you have. Again, can you remind me, how did you actually get your foot in the door as one of the most popular stylists of the stars? How did you go about
doing that? So I was in a salon one day, and the woman that I had previously assisted told me about celebrity styling. It was an epiphany, never had heard of it in my life. And she said, yeah, all you got to do is like go to Craigslist, and they'll have ads where they're looking for hairstylists. So that is one of the ways. Back at that time, though Craigslist still existed, or you would go to Model Mayhem and put up images. She couldn't really lead me because she didn't know. She gave me what she had to give. Right. So then I started doing like local runway shows, but like I didn't know better. So my runway shows were something that a girlfriend had put together at a club one night. And in my mind, I really thought people would come to the club at midnight to see a runway show and care about hair. You did the little bit that you knew, and every step you went higher. Then I started doing collaborative shoots. Like I would meet a photographer, and we would meet a girl who was a model, who was usually a model, not a model. and a makeup artist, and we would just start going back and forth and working on what looked to see what looked good. But it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. If I did 100 shoots, maybe one of them was good enough to go into my portfolio.
Okay.
And it was just interchanging and changing out and taking the tidbits I would overhear from a different artist, and then finding agencies and getting laughed at because the work was horrendous at the time. But on occasion, they would give you a tidbit. So it was always, what tidbit can you get? What tidbit can you get here? What tidbit? And putting it together and going from there. As I said, I've been doing this, like 18 years. So I didn't realize the importance of assisting until I moved to New York. And at that point, I had been doing hair for 10 years. And I got to assist because whatever lessons you need to learn as an assistant will wait until you become an assistant. It doesn't matter if you do it in year 1 or year 23, it'll be there waiting for you. So then you're looking around and you're learning things. Then I'm finding other artists online and looking at their work and trying to figure out, well, how'd they get it that way? And a lot of questions. And I want to circle back to what I said. Maybe 1 out of every 100 shoots, the images came out good enough to use. And I talk a lot about this and Get Out of Your Own Way. Everyone is focused on what they do. So you're looking at, oh, do I have that hair perfect? But if those eyelashes are twisted, you can't use that. If that photo's out of focus, you can't use it. If the model's doing something weird with her mouth, you can't use that image. If it's cropped poorly, you can't use it. So you develop an eye. You start looking through magazines. Well, what type of images are making it into magazines? What type of hair is making it into magazines? And since your viewership is predominantly Black, I'm going to give a lot more tips than I normally give. So what I noticed was that a lot of times in magazines, and I think people are a bit more savvy now due to social media, but a lot of times in magazines, you see the image and you say, it don't even look like nobody did her hair. But that I woke up like, this is what's going to make money. A supermodel or an actress who has been honing her craft for 15 years, it's an insult for you to walk up to them and say, oh my God, your hair. They want you to walk up to them and say, you look so beautiful. Not, oh, I need your hairstylist. Who did that? Girl, turn around. That's not really one. That's hair modeling. That's something separate from working with talent. You want to learn how to really match your color with your extensions, how to seamlessly install so that when the wind blows and it blows back, you can't see anything. You have to learn these loose, voluminous sets that when she's outside swinging that hair back and forth, it goes and falls right back in place. That takes years of practice. That takes years of, she can run her hands through it and it falls back in place because you'll still be responsible for it. She's gonna run her hands through her hair. It takes years to learn how to work at the same time with a makeup artist. I like to call it hairline wars because that's how we tell if the hair is good. If the hair is good, if the hairline is laid. The makeup is good if the hairline matches. How are you both working at the same time? Or maybe that hairstyle, when they come to the salon, most of the time I find hairstylists only measure the time that they're in the chair. But for what I do, I measure the time they walk in the room to the time they walk out. So if you're the hairstylist in the salon, maybe she got to wait a little while. Then the shampoo assistant shampoo. Then she's put under the dryer with conditioner. Then she comes over and you prep. Then she dries. Then you come. No, ma'am. We're at least 3 hours at this point. You got 45 minutes to an hour. That's it. And at least needs to look amazing. So maybe, and most of the time we don't shampoo. Overwhelmingly, we don't shampoo. So how do you create this look on dry hair that you normally would create it on wet hair? These are the things that you have to learn. You have to learn how to communicate with the client in a way that they can foresee what you're going to do. And you need to give them what you said you were going to do. If you say we're going to do a wave and that wave is going to hit right here at the eyebrow and then come back and that wave hit down here, that's not what we discussed.
Okay.
So there's a lot more to it, and I don't want to overwhelm. These are things you can learn through organization, through education, through practice, through preparation, through learning how to communicate, through marketing. All of these things are things you can learn. Just know that the average person doesn't know how to do it, and so what you assume you should do generally is not correct. Then you end up having to dig yourself out of a hole. Check out Get Out of Your Own Way. I walk you through step by step what to do and how to do it.
Yes. So I tell you, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Monae, thank you so much for your valuable time. We truly appreciate it. And again, subscribe, ring the bell. All of Monae's information, her email, the book, anything that you have as far as questions, you can just ask down in the caption, but Clip It will have all of her information in the caption. Thank you again so much for your knowledge and your wisdom and your time, you beautiful soul. Thank you so much, Monae.
Thank you for having me.